He killed his girl for donations.
As the digital landscape of content creation continues to evolve, so do the ways that people try to earn money.
Worse than Jack Doherty.
When it comes to streaming, the donation system has led to—
Yo, literally, bro, like, I guarantee you if this happened now in these days, they would assume that it's a kick streamer.
all sorts of odd personalities popping up, some of which we've talked about on this channel. Some of these streamers, though, dubbed trash streamers, have come up with increasingly scummy, violent, and criminal ways to gain attention and donations, with some even turning to manslaughter.
Crazy.
Today we have the story of a trash vlogger living out in Russia, and if you don't know what a trash vlogger is, it's actually a pretty simple concept. The streamer will invite a few friends over, and they'll usually get really drunk, or high, or both, and start doing stupid stunts on camera in exchange for money. Most of the time they just end up being a group of rowdy dum-dums, but on several occasions trash vlogging has led to something more horrible. Reflay, real name Stanislav Reshetnyak, was a Russian YouTuber/streamer born in October of 1990. He joined YouTube for the first time on November 16th, 2017, when he was 27 years old. He was a gamer who mainly did Let's Plays, having one channel for his vlogs and one for his gaming. Over time, though, he realized that he wasn't really making a whole lot of revenue on Let's Plays. By then, the genre was very oversaturated and it was becoming harder and harder to find an audience. Over time, Reflay came to realize that he would earn much more money by simply getting drunk on streams and acting like an asshole. Whenever someone would send him a tip with a request for some kind of stunt, he realized that doing that stunt would send the audience into hysterics and lead to more and more requests, and more money. The requests got more bold and dangerous over time. It was only a matter of time before they would lead to something criminal. These stunts soon became Reflay's so-called profession. He soon started inviting more and more friends over to help participate in these stunts. After a while, the requests came to involve bullying, pretty extreme cases of bullying. Reflay would be asked to do all manner of horrible things to his friends on stream, and he couldn't pass up the cash. One victim of his streams was his friend, using that word lightly, 32-year-old Valentin Ganichev, known online as the Deputy.
And the chat was probably hyping that shit up. That shit is crazy. They're probably like, yeah, beat the f out of him, bro.
Valentin had become homeless, suffering from alcoholism and various other different mental illnesses. He got an offer to come and live in Reflay's home, and it was an offer he couldn't pass up. Little did he know it would lead to nothing less than agony over a period of 3 entire years.
Jesus.
It started out small, with Reflay splashing water in his face on stream or slapping him upside the head. Things did get worse over time though, with Reflay coming to beat him and even tricking him into drinking urine. He had slop and alcohol poured all over him
pretty much used him as a test subject for his YouTube.
Numerous times, with eggs smashed on him and fish intestines slipped into his food. At one point, they even buried him up to his head in the ground. It was said that Valentin himself was receiving a bit of the money for playing this role so often, causing him to stick around for more. On some streams, Valentin would tell the sometimes worried audience that he was with his friends voluntarily, but on others he would claim that his documents had been stolen by them, even urging someone to call the police or an ambulance. Some members of a public organization that fights against modern slavery did what they could to convince Valentin to leave, and after a while he did. However, it wasn't too long before he went back to his friends and the show started once again.
Jesus, bro. Dumb like this never learn.
Members of the organization said that he didn't feel like he was a victim of these streams and didn't see much wrong with it. A while later, Valentin got a lawyer and went to the police station, officially informing them that he had no complaints with the other streamers, saying that he was a voluntary participant. So, in the end, there wasn't much the police could do. After 3 years, he finally left for
They probably forced him to say that, though.
good. It's unknown if this was because he simply couldn't stomach it anymore or for some other reason. Regardless, Reflay now needed a new target to keep the cash flowing in. This is when he began to pick on the elderly and the disabled, basically anyone he felt that he could bully and get away with it. The next person who would come to be the main target of his on-stream abuse would be none other than his own girlfriend, Valentina Grigorieva, a 28-year-old woman who came to show up on his streams more and more often. While his actions against Valentina started out with mere words, mainly banter and insults, the donations started flowing in and the stunts had to get more and more outrageous. In one video that went viral, Reflay pinned her to the ground and screamed in her face. As she began to cry, he began to beat her. It took a friend pulling him off of her for this stunt to stop.
What the f***?
And slapped him
That ain't no f***ing stunt.
back, walked away, grabbed a pot, and smashed it into his desk while onlookers watched. Over time, the abuse got more and more intense. On one occasion, Reflay took out a can of pepper spray, casually walked over to where Valentina was laying on the couch, and sprayed it in her face as she screamed.
What?
As she rolled around on the ground in pain, Reflay calmly went back to his computer and started reading through the chat. In September of 2020,
What the f***?
Valentina reported to the police that Reflay had beaten her. Shortly after, she was diagnosed with a leg injury. Then again in October, Valentina went to the police twice to report Reflay. She said that he had beaten her while he was drunk. Little did she know, things were
Said average Russian live stream. Man, what the
going to get much, much worse.
Now this ain't no YouTube stream.
December
This is a dark
2nd,
web stream,
2020,
oh God.
a small town called Ivanovka in the Moscow area. Reflay was streaming once again alongside both Valentina and their friend Marina. The stream started out like most did, with the trio drinking and listening to loud music.
Oh, that's why they're drunk.
This was when one of the biggest single
Probably was a damn alcoholic, bro, just abusing his girlfriend.
donations Reflay had ever seen, one of a whole $1,000, came in. The request was simple: beat Valentina and lock her outside. This was bad enough on its own, but as anyone in the world knows, Russian winters are no joke.
Donated $1,000 to beat her and leave her outside. That definitely is on the dark web, cause ain't no way he think this the Red Room on YouTube.
The temperature was already well below freezing outside. Nevertheless, Reflay complied without hesitation. He grabbed Valentina and slammed her to the ground. He then beat her, landing several blows on her head before stripping her down to her underwear. He then upped the ante by pouring cold water all over her. Reflay and Marina grabbed her and attempted to drag her outside, but she continued to
Two try to grab
protest
her.
and even threatened them with a knife. They got the knife away from her though, and eventually succeeded in forcing her out onto the balcony, mostly naked, covered in cold water in the freezing temperatures. Valentina said,
What the f***? Yo, people are actually evil. Like, out of all people, it was a that was helping another pretty much kill a.
"Stasyan, I'm cold, brother. Can I go back inside?" To which he flatly responded, "No." As he usually did, Reflay calmly returned to his computer. This was all routine at this point. He told viewers that Valentina stank, suffering from what he called an intestinal disease. He added that she was a prostitute and he could never bring himself to be with someone like that. It's important to note that there's no way to know if she actually was. There's basically no information about Valentina out there that isn't connected to Reflay in some way, so we know very little about her background. However, being that Reflay is how he is, it's important to take anything he said with some pretty heavy scrutiny. He continued to stream and respond to donations while Valentina was out on the balcony, banging on the doors and even screaming. Eventually, though, her screams subsided and her banging stopped. Things got quiet. After not too long, Reflay seemed to have forgotten that she was even out there. At some point during the stream, Reflay and Marina got into an argument and walked off screen. He then returned to the computer alone. The stream lasted for a full 2 hours, much of that taking place after he locked her outside. Eventually, he remembered that she was out there and went to go let her back in. He found her lying down on the ground, motionless. He dragged her inside, but she was completely unresponsive. She was pale and looked completely lifeless. She wasn't breathing at all. Reflay began to slap her, saying,
What the f***? Bro brought a dead body on stream. Pretty much killed her. Yo,
"My
what
bunny,
the
what's up?" He attempted CPR to no avail. He yelled to the audience, in tears, "Guys, no pulse, she's pale, she's not breathing," before begging Valentina to wake up, saying that he loved her. He carried her over to the couch and covered her in a blanket. He continued to drink and stream for a little longer before he decided he would call an ambulance.
Oh my god, bro. Like, corrupt mind of a streamer, bro. Like, this thought he was about to make it. He thought he was the next Kai Cenat, bro. What the f...
So, but he still didn't shut the stream down. He continued to respond to the chat while he waited for them to show up. He told his viewers to inform her mother about what happened to her and to say goodbye to her. Paramedics arrived on scene, pronouncing Valentina dead on the spot. It was far too late to do anything. The police showed up as well, telling Replay that they would work out who was responsible for this. It wasn't until the police showed up and began talking to him that he finally shut the stream down. While it was originally assumed that Valentina had frozen to death, this would prove not to have been the case. At the hospital, it was found that she suffered from cerebral trauma, having bruising all over her face and hemorrhaging of the soft tissue. She had a subdural hematoma, which was believed to have been the result of no less than 3 hard blows to the face. That very day, Replay was taken in and interrogated.
Dog, he really, like, did all this on live stream and was like, yeah, more donos, more donos.
Replay admitted to the police that he did hit her several times on the head, telling them flatly that he did indeed beat her. They let him go for the night, for some reason, but took him back in the next night. Only one day later, YouTube completely removed Replay's channel, with a YouTube rep telling media outlets, "We're shocked to learn of this tragic incident. This kind of
They don't give a f***. They're PR trained.
graphic content is not acceptable on YouTube. Although the original livestream did not take place on YouTube, we quickly removed re-uploads and terminated the associated account." While Replay was taken into a police car in handcuffs, he looked surprisingly calm and unbothered. He told reporters that he hadn't done anything. He insisted that Valentina went out onto the balcony on her own and that he simply forgot she was out there and didn't realize she hadn't come back in. When asked if he regretted all of this, he responded, "What is there to regret? I didn't really do anything." He was taken into jail where he would remain until his trial. Replay told officials that Valentina was his best friend, saying, "Valia was my best friend, very kind and loyal. She was so talented. On my streams, they called her Genius. She was an actress who graduated with honors. She truly wanted a real relationship, but I couldn't be with her. You see, she was a prostitute. I didn't want a relationship with a girl like that." He then suggested that Valentina might have done
his murder, like, bro, they ain't no, she could be a Figueroa Street goat. Ain't no reason to kill her.
Died from a drug overdose.
And whoever donated to kill her, yo, that probably happy as f. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like, there's genuinely sick people out there that would spend tons of money to see somebody get killed live on camera, like actually sick.
While he had originally shown a bit of sympathy towards her and acted as if he had a part in her death, his story had since changed. He said that she was a prostitute, on drugs, and likely wouldn't have lived long regardless. He was adamant that he didn't use any drugs himself. However, the investigative community soon reported that a case had indeed been opened against him. They weren't buying it that he had nothing to do with her death, especially after the hospital's reports. He was highly suspected of intentionally inflicting grievous bodily harm. By April the next year, Replay was in court, the Remensky City Court in the Moscow region. Investigators had plenty of his past streams to use against him, where it could be clearly seen that a large number of viewers had seen the beating taking place for themselves. Not to mention, the video had been mirrored and wasn't hard to find at all. He wasn't able to deny any involvement any longer. Unsure if he was malicious or actually insane, they sent him in for a psych evaluation. It was found that he was both sane and fit to go to trial. Once the day of his trial came, news reporters—
You would think he's mentally ill doing some shit like that. Like, constantly just like, I don't even know, bro. Like, that's not normal.
Filmed him getting a kiss from his mother, who still supported him regardless. His brothers and sisters attended as well, showing their support. They were all in a very solemn mood, refusing to talk to the media in any way. This was aside from one single thing that his mother said, that her son wouldn't hurt a kitten and was very kind.
Yeah, they said that about FBG Duck.
He was convicted on charges of intentional infliction of grievous bodily harm, dangerous to human life, committed with the use of an object used as a weapon, resulting in the death of the victim by negligence. A Russian senator named Alexei Pushkov took this opportunity to call for specific legal punishments aimed at trash streamers, pointing out the gradually escalating cruelty taking place in the shows. He wanted 6 years in jail for the worst of these streams, along with fines. He said, "This is becoming more and more widespread, so it is necessary
6 years for a murder is insane.
to legislatively respond to this form of activity. Naturally, if we're talking about direct participation or complicity in murder, then the imprisonment term may be longer." It wasn't a long trial. Reflay was charged with involuntary manslaughter, but he was only sentenced to 6 years in prison. This would be a maximum security prison.
This is why UK niggas be killing people. This is why niggas in England be shanking people in broad daylight because they know they're getting out in 6 years. Bro, they don't have no 25 to life. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I don't think you can get 25 to life unless you have weed carts in your hand. Unless you're smoking weed. You're smoking weed, forget about it. You're getting life in prison in Russia. You kill somebody, oh, listen, your alcohol is accidental. You'll get 6 years.
Though a penal colony. When he came out of court, escorted to his new home, he was seen in tears as he was filmed. His lawyer expressed an intention to appeal the case, saying, "We have already appealed against the arrest order, and we will continue to insist on his innocence."
Well, at least he got that $1,000 to pay for a lawyer, which probably ain't gonna do shit.
Heavy news coverage of this incident would lead to the government investigating trash streams even further. Shortly after Reflay's case, another case soon came to be known. In this other case, some YouTubers had slammed a woman's head into a restaurant table on stream, and in another video, shockingly they even buried a homeless man alive for all to see. Just before Reflay's trial in March, a different live stream at a home in Russia
It's just a fucking alternate universe of just fucking Russia killing each other on live stream. I really think, like, they probably got motivated by that guy. They're like, oh, do you do it? I do it. Give me alcohol.
showed a woman, a mother of...
Give me women abuse. Give me domestic violence. Yeah, them Russian niggas is devious.
3 being drugged and sexually assaulted while the streamers tore apart and destroyed her apartment.
Sexually assaulted?
They asked for more and more donations to continue the destruction, which they received. The stream wasn't even stopped by YouTube as it went on. It was later reported...
I just want to let y'all know this is the definition of selling your soul. Like, this is actually the definition of selling your soul. Like,
that the main streamer in this case
you're destroying someone's, like, property for money.
Been dating the woman briefly since her divorce with her husband. Before the police got to this streamer, the woman's relatives found him first and beat him senseless. In another stream, a man named Andrei Yashin beat his 54-year-old mother on air for donations. The next day, though, the woman told police that nothing bad had happened and that her son had already apologized.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. This is worse than clip farming.
So nothing came of it.
Bro beat on his mother for donations.
Afterward, the two actually continued to conduct these kind of streams together.
They banned you for no reason, but they let people kill each other, then ban them for a week after. It's so crazy, because I got banned for something I had no control over. Like, just let that sink in, bro.
All of these streams led to the harm of others. Some of them ended up harming themselves, such as the case of a 60-year-old man in Russia who died after drinking 1.5 liters of vodka on stream. In February of 2021, Vyacheslav Volodin, the Speaker of Russia's lower house of parliament, voiced his disgust at these sort of streams. He wanted to introduce some kind of bill as soon as possible. Women's activists in Russia lashed out toward YouTube as well, saying, "The woman dies on air and the audience sends donations to the killer. This must stop. Such videos are calmly broadcast to the whole world, meaning something is broken. Until this is fixed, censorship is necessary." At the same time, it was noted that it's very difficult to track these streams. They can go for hours on end, sometimes half a day or more at times. 99% of the time, nothing of note happens. But then, out of nowhere, some instance of severe bullying or intense violence will take place. Given that it could be as little as 1 minute out of an 8-hour stream, the authorities would have a very hard time keeping track of them until after the fact. YouTube, Twitch, and other platforms were urged to do their best in keeping track of these streams.
Oh yeah, Twitch did that and more.
However, trash streams in Russia and worldwide continue to operate, such as the recent RV streams that have been increasing in popularity, with internet personalities like OnlyUseMeBlade and FoozyTube drinking themselves under the table and or committing crimes right on screen. Once again, thank you for watching my video. If you found it interesting, please give it a like, as it really helps me out in the algorithm, and feel free to—
Yeah, I remember when that one guy killed somebody on stream or not killed somebody, but they took drugs and they were off of alcohol, chat, and bro was just sitting there on live stream. Blade, yep, the Blade shit. That shit is crazy, bro.
Bring that bird, Ben, I think this is a jet, nigga. 5-star dinners, 5 stars on my bitch, nigga. Been 10 fat shit up on my wrist, been him, could've been anything I wanna get.